Hi, I'm Michael Pinter, and welcome to the Wholesaling and Flipping Houses in New York show, where I teach you how to start wholesaling or flipping houses. Right? I'm defining flipping as buying something, fixing it up, and really, it's really rehabbing. Or if you're doing it already, how to build your business. Now, question I got today, this is by request, is how do you raise private money when you don't have friends or family to lend you money? And this is such a vast topic. I could probably talk for 4 hours, but I'm gonna try and keep it, to the usual 10 minutes. So I made some notes because it's there's a lot to talk about. So first of all, the question is, what are you raising money for? Right? If you're only wholesaling, you don't really need money. Um, the situation with wholesaling is you need a little bit of money, like $1,000 to $1,500 to buy a list and skip trace the list. Then you can call it yourself. The two activities that I see from a lot of students and people that call me that are preventing them from doing what they really should be doing is raising money and building a buyer's list. Both of those activities should not be done ever until you have a deal. So the whole business is calling up sellers and getting deals locked up at a discount. That is what you should be spending money on. This shirt is bugging the crap out of me. And I'm not going to talk about why you shouldn't build a buyer's list. I've done other videos on that. Maybe we'll talk about that in another video. But raising money, if you get a deal, the money will be there. You can call me and I'll put up the money. I just had somebody who had a situation. They had a deal. I looked at it. I go, this is a great deal. If you can get it around 310, they got it. Well, I put up the cash for it. We're going to wholesale it for about 60 grand and we're going to split it. So there's no reason for you to waste time on money if you're wholesaling. Also, don't waste any time on finding buyers in any situation. Get those after you get a deal. But so if you're rehabbing, which means you want to actually buy a property, fix it up and sell it, then you need to raise money, right? You need average about 100 grand on deals in New York, right? Because that's the portion of the purchase price that a lender won't give you. And it's also payments and closing costs and all these things. You need money for that for sure. So if you're really rehabbing, that's what you want to do. And I commend you because most people calling me don't want to rehab. They just want to wholesale because they saw on the internet how great it was. Then you need to raise private money. So let's talk. There's really three areas about raising private money that are important. The first is credibility, right? It's also belief. You got to believe in it, but you're going to have to convey your credibility to the potential lender. So if you've done even one deal, it's much easier than you think. Lay out that deal, go step by step. This is what I did. I can do this again. Or the only thing holding me back is money. You can build a credibility kit based on your experience. Now, what if you've never done a deal? Now, if you've never done a deal, it's a little harder. What you really have to do is a lot of research into maybe one area that you want to focus on. I did it. I had a credibility package in Elmont. Elmont was my place. Elmont was the greatest. I did a bunch of deals in Elmont, and I was convinced that Elmont was a misunderstood area. And I went out to private money people with this whole presentation only on Elmont. Now, it's absurd to think that I can build a business only in one city because it's just hard when you're dealing with such a small geographic area. But you can do something like that. And you can say, listen, I know this area better than anyone. I go to every open house. I know every investor that buys in that area. Obviously, you have to actually do that work. You got to do work to create this level of credibility. But you can do it. And you can say, listen, you could use me if you want. I know this guy, Michael Pinter, and he knows this stuff, and he does deals here, and he's telling me I can do it. Whatever you want. I'm happy to help you if you need any help from me in building credibility or to help you with a credibility package. But you need to at least show the potential lender that I'm an expert at this. I may not have done a deal yet. But the only reason I haven't done a deal yet is because I don't have the money. But I can definitely buy. Look at all these properties that were sold and look at the people, what they did the work. They fixed them up and sold them. This is a great area for rehabbing. I can do it in this area. I know the area. I'm going to market in this area. I'm going to find the properties. I'm going to deal with guys like Pinter, who's going to get a deal for me nearby in that area. Maybe not in one city, maybe a city and surrounding areas, because it's very hard to get the deal in that one area, but in one city. But that's what you got to do to build credibility. You got to become an expert in that thing. I would literally go to open houses every single weekend. Go to open houses on properties that look like they were investor properties. Go to anything that says TLC. Go on the MLS. Just learn an area so that you believe you know the area. If I can buy a cape in this area for under 300 grand, I know I can, fix it up and sell for 500 grand, something like that. Like in Elmont, that's what I would do. I would buy capes This is like 10 years, 9 years ago. I'd buy capes for like 250 to 270, and I knew I could fix them up for 30, 40 grand and sell them for 400. I knew it, right? And I did it, and it was easy. So um, that's how you have to build this credibility. And you have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, there's no way you're going to convince somebody to write you a check. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to build this credibility. It's harder if you haven't done a deal, much easier if you have done a deal, obviously, right? If you have a real track record of any kind of with any kind of history. Okay, the next thing you have to think about is structure, right? How do you want to structure the deal? Now, for the first 4 or 5 years that I was in business, when I raised money, I had a partner who was great at raising money, raised millions of dollars. We raised money. What we did is we sold, and this was an easy sell to investors. We were going to take hard money on every deal, and the investor was going to fund the investor was going to fund the equity part. So just a portion that the hard money lender was going to lend. The investors loved that, right? Because they were only putting up a portion of the deal. So they liked that a lot. And then they would split the profits with them in different splits. But it stunk for us really because we closed a lot of deals and we had to pay a hard money lender and then we had to pay an equity investor. It's much better if you can get somebody to fund the entire deal. So if you're desperate to do this in the beginning and you want to find private money, you can make the same offer we made, but understand after you close a couple of deals, go back and tell them, hey, I want to renegotiate this. I want you to put up all the money so I don't have to pay a hard money lender. Look, the deal will be much more profitable if we don't have to pay a hard money lender. And I'll pay you a similar interest rate to what I was paying the hard money lender. That makes life much easier and it makes for a much happier rehabber, trust me. So you got to think about that, how you want to structure the deal. Now, it's hard in New York because the deals are big, right? We needed $400,000 on a lot of our deals. It's much easier in other parts of the country where $100,000 gets you the purchase price and all the rehab. But you got to think about how you want to structure the deal. If you want to use the same model I use, that's fine. But be sure that after you close a deal or two, you go back and renegotiate and say, listen, I think it'll be better if we don't use a hard money lender. Can you fund the whole thing? That's important. Now, the other thing you need to understand is there's a huge amount of money in retirement accounts. So even people you think don't have any money, have money in retirement accounts, and you can take any retirement account, anything, IRA, Roth IRA, a 401k, a SEP IRA, 401, self-directed 401k, 401, whatever the hell it is, anything. And you can talk to a self-directed IRA company, take that money, and you can use it to buy properties. And there's trillions of dollars in retirement accounts. And it's a much safer investment. I know at first you go, oh, it's so scary. It's my first deal. Maybe I lose money. How much can you lose if you're buying it right? You really can't lose that much. I mean, we're having an election soon. The stock market could drop by 20% in a minute if a candidate gets up there and says something crazy. So it's a much safer investment if you think about it. I think it's much safer, right? The stock market, fluctuations go up and down like nuts. You're buying a discounted property and you're going to put money into it. How much can you really lose? Even if the real estate market crashes, how much can you really lose if you're buying it right? If you're buying it at enough of a discount, you can sell it and you'll maybe take a small loss. It's possible. I've taken losses on property that I screwed up on the rehab, but never a lot. I mean, talk about small percentage points of losses. So if you're buying right, it's a very, very, very safe investment. And I think that a lot of people might understand that, right? They know that their retirement accounts are very high now. And if they liquidated them out of their index funds now, and you bought a property at a huge discount and convinced them that this is something you can make money on, I think it's a great source. And people think, oh, everybody has all this money, but no, everybody I know has no money. A lot of people have retirement accounts, and it's a great source. And I think it's a very safe investment if you're buying things at enough of a discount. So those are really the stages to raising private money. It's not an easy thing, right? And here's the real thing. What I find that if you don't believe in it, right? If you think this is something you just want to try, I'm going to try rehabbing. If you're going to try, it's not going to work out. You can't convince somebody to give you money on something you're trying. You got to convince somebody in something you absolutely believe in. If you believe in it, you can convince someone to lend you money for it. So that's what I have to say about raising private money. I mean, it's a vast topic. Every one of those things I just discussed, I could probably write a video. I could probably create a video and talk about it for an hour. I want to keep this to around 10 minutes, but If you want more information on how I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're watching on Facebook, I have 7 ways I can help you on top. If you're watching on YouTube, it's below. There's a lot of ways that I can help you get started or build a business. My phone number is below if you want to call in my office and leave a number. If you like these videos, please click like. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. And so I have a lot of by request topics now, which is great. I'm pretty much set for like a couple of weeks. But if you have any topics you want me to cover, put it in the comment and request it, and I will be happy to create a video on it soon. I really appreciate people asking me for things to do because, to be honest, I try to go live every day, and I run out of topics. So people ask me questions, and I'm happy to answer them. So all comments get responded to pretty quickly. Thank you very much for watching. I hope I did this subject matter justice. I really do. It's complicated. Raising private money is not a simple thing. In New York, it's more complicated just because of the size of the deals. But just to recap, first of all, decide what you're raising money for. For wholesaling, you do not need to raise private money. You only need it for rehabbing. But you got to build credibility either by doing a deal or by really getting deep knowledge of an area. You need to figure out how to structure the deal, right? Where I structured it with both hard money and with equity. That was not great, but if you need to do that to start, do it. But remember, if you do a deal, 2, 1, 2, 3 deals, you want to renegotiate that and have the private money fund the entire deal, so you don't have to also pay a lender. And also remember that there are tons of people that have retirement accounts that can be self-directed to either lend money for a deal or actually to buy a property. It's absolutely legal, and these are, I believe, safer investments than what these retirement accounts are in now. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you again tomorrow.